Hi friends, so today I want to talk to you about arrangement and especially why it is so hard for the people to arrange a track. And I've noticed by myself, I had problems with that for many years. I have experienced this when working with hundreds of people who always told me that they are paralyzed or it's really hard for them to arrange. And I've discovered that this is due to the lack of knowing the key principles for the arrangement. So today I will tell you about these there it is, five key concepts, five key principles that will really help you in the arrangement. And I will show you in my example how I approach this. If you don't know me yet, I'm Michał, and over the last 6 years I've been helping music producers establish music creation process, finish tracks and release their music. We work with music production communities. I run two of them, one in Poland, one globally. And if you want to join our community and really skyrocket your progress and finish a lot of tracks, join our communities. The link is in the description. All right, without further ado, let's jump in. So this is the track I'm working on. So let's dive into how I will approach the arrangement of this project. So first off, I want to know what's the theme of the track. And why I'm saying this, because I've heard hundreds of tracks when the theme was not present. I was listening to this tune, and after listening to it, I was like, what this song was about. There was like too many motifs. The motifs that should be a theme were not repeated enough. I had this feeling, I was confused rather than had this satisfaction. Okay, I know what this track is about. So when you approach the arrangement, really decide what's the key element. And if you have many of them, you need to limit yourself to one, two, like one leading element or group of elements, maybe one, two elements playing together, and then maybe third element coming in as a contrast, and that's it. Because really in techno, especially in hypnotic techno, you don't want to overload people, and just think rather in the concept of having minimal amount of element rather than maximal amount of element, because you will be mixing those tracks together, so you want to have space for them. So when I listen to this, like, it's clear to me that this sound is my leading element, and if you want to get that rack, check out the link in the description. It was in my previous pack for Hypnotic Techno producers. So this is the bass, this is the leading element. I know I can manipulate this, yeah, do some stuff with it, and then at some point I can introduce the second element, which will be this guy. And I know when I will introduce the second element, I will probably hide that ones to make a space. So because they don't play in this relationship Q&A, so the one asks, the other answers. They rather play kind of like on themselves. So I know I need to make space for that second element to come in. So I need to hide in terms of like hide the frequencies, take out the higher frequencies to make a space. So this is how I know I will like play with those two elements. I know what is my theme and how I'm going to develop it. Then how to add life and movement. And I'm saying this because many times I've heard that there is not enough variation and modulation. So we will add life and movement to our composition by changing the sequences or changing the contrast or modulating the sounds we already have. So in my context, like I already showed you, like I can do a lot of movement with this track. Yeah, like so then the whole context can play like this drums and loops. And I can play with this sound because yeah, I've built it that way so I can play with modulated a lot. And then the second sound, pretty much the same. We will get already seen this, but to give you an example of variation, so here I have this wet sound. You can also download it from the pack. So here is like I'm playing only this kind of short note. Yeah. It's short rather than effect, and then when I introduce the second element, I'm changing the notes to give contrast, like to give this psychedelic kind of feeling. And I'm playing, as you can see, longer notes. Yeah, so you can achieve or add life and movement by changing the sequence or by modulating the sounds. Yeah, very important. And let's then move further. So then the question is how I would change the energy. And this is really arbitrary. You have tracks that are kind of like flat in terms of energy, or maybe the amplitude of the energy is like maybe slightly up, slightly down. They kind of like fluctuate like that. But there are tracks that changes like this and that. So you want to have at least some level of energy changes, and you can do it two ways. You can modulate the energy by adding drum elements like new percussions and so on, and hats and so on, or modulating the synth or the lead sounds itself by changing the timbre, so opening the sound, lengthening the sound. You will also introduce a lot of energy change. So let's hear it in this context. So this is my like first scene in the composition, and then I'm introducing shakers, so I'm kind of like the energy goes up a bit. Open hat, energy go up once again. 16 hat, very important. 16 hat adds the energy. I can already feel that the pacing is stronger, higher, and then I've added this kind of like hatty noise. At this point I could add another hat layer, or maybe some tom, not tom, but maybe clav or rimshot groove or something like that. This will also add the energy. And then I can, this adds up a lot of energy. Like this, listen once again. Maybe it's too loud. Yeah, so you see different drums I have added, and they are different drums when it comes to frequency spectrum. Like there was this high-pitched noise, 16th hat, 8-note hat, and then this clappy thing a bit lower. So this was helping me changing the energy. But let's say in this instance, I would also change the energy. Yeah, of the spectrum. Yeah, so I can add energy by modulating the sound as well. So let's go further. How I will build tension. This is really important, and this is a thing where many producers kind of fail. So like I'm listening to those tunes, but I'm like, that's nice, but I was not feeling any tension. So we can introduce tension by, the simplest method is by taking out the elements we already have. And you have heard it, I bet, thousands of times. Like just you have a DJ, you're playing, and then you don't have a kick drum at the bass line, for example, and it's like, and then you come back. Yeah, so in this instance, we have like this moment, and then there is this tension, no kick, but I can make it bigger by taking out this element. Yeah, so this is tense, like there is contrast, and for example, do yeah, and then I can introduce tension with this sound. like this sound has a lot of tension in itself, like wah, 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 wah. It's very repetitive. It's kind of like very psychedelic. It's disturbing in a sense. So I'm introducing tension by adding this element here. So there's a lot of tension by this, but I could also introduce some tension and energy changes by modulating, for example, this one. Yeah, energy rises when you open up sound, so it's longer. So then you build like energy and tension. It sometimes goes together. So that will be how to add tension, and all those drops, breakdowns really help. But remember, sometimes it's enough to just take out the element. Sometimes it helps to automate some element, but then many times to spice it up and to have that extra thing, you need contrast. So when I think of contrast, there are like many layers, but most of them are about like what kind of characteristics of the sound you already have. And if we listen to it, like most of the sounds for me are really like staccato, really short, sweet, rhythmic. So I would contrast this composition with the sound that is longer. Yeah, so in this instance, for example, I could at some point maybe play longer notes on this one. So let's swap it here, maybe add this guy. So we have it like that. Short, kind of short. Yeah, long notes. So this is like a minimal contrast, but longer contrast would be, for example, if we would like play this one, and then I will hide it, just to get the groove going, and then add that new element. I can play with this, adds up emotion that was lacking, and then take this created a lot of contrast, in my opinion, because we had like all those kind of psychedelic, hypnotic, edgy sounds, and then something that was harmonious, that was giving us this lift, or I would say took us to a different world for a moment. So think about how you can introduce this moment, element, or in your composition that will kind of like take the listener to the different world for a moment. And this is perfect for the breakdowns, or for a moment approaching breakdowns, and then release it. So yeah, let's just drop it and then come back to what you already had, so you can like cement the groove, the feeling, the theme you had before. So that's it, my friend. I have told you about 5 questions to ask yourself, and 5 principles, I would say, which I follow when I develop my sketches in order to arrange them. And as you can see, as you can see here, I already like pre-arranged this, so it's just a matter of, for me right now, to play those scenes and mess up with the settings and just record the arrangement here, and I will have it done. And it really takes me up 5 to 6 hours maximum to arrange, to create and arrange the composition, because I know what I'm doing. So I hope you will know a bit more, practice it, take for your process what resonates with you, adjust it to your taste, adjust it to your style, and I'm sure it will help you arrange more tracks. All right, if you want to learn more about music production, check out this video on my right side, your left side. Till the next time, bye.